Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight is the weekly True Crime and Chill, and joining me tonight is Mr. Beckham. Beckham, how are you?
What's up? How you doing?
Good, good. So let's just get this out of the way. What candle are you burning in the background?
Blue Bliss.
Blue Bliss?
Blue
Wow.
Bland or Blue Bliss or something like that. Yeah. It's a new one. It smells good though. Yeah, it smells good.
Interesting. I was expecting something a little more raunchy of a name.
Or you can always
get
the merch. Wait, hold on.
I'm going to take...
Which scent will Beckham choose tonight?
Yes, folks, you can get that at the Danny After Dark merch store. Link is down below. I have my candle in the back, but I am humble.
I thought about getting everybody in my office one, put it on their desk.
Oh my, please do. Please do.
all these feds, all these guys. Just they come in their office and like, where did this candle come from?
Oh my God, that would be, I fully support that.
That's
I
funny.
fully support that. Well, I'm going to be humble and drink from my Danny After Dark tumbler, which is like my new favorite thing. So love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So for those wondering, as of right now, there are 2 cats in the room. We got Selena sleeping and then Leia's up there on the tower. You can't quite see her, but she'll come down eventually and knock off all my stuff. So, you know, there's that. So before we jump into hellos this evening and also the true crime stories we'll be going over, today is a special day. Today is Corey Novak's birthday. Friend of the show and friend in real life, Corey Novak. Happy birthday. Hope you are having a fantastic day out celebrating. Everybody in the chat give Corey Novak a little bit of love. And yeah, I will make sure that he sees that. So
hey, speaking of Corey, he got me a book.
He told me that. Yeah.
I started reading it.
And?
Well, it's about a subject that we talked about that I told you about a long time ago. I was like, like the best. It's called The Long Haul. It's about a retired FBI agent who's done a lot. Of course, his career was over like 25 years or something like that. So he's worked in all kinds of facets of law enforcement within the FBI, different things. But he never, when they came up with this, I guess this listing of cases about missing persons, right? Remember we've talked about this and how it was kind of went along with the whole trucker theme. Remember? And we talked about, and I was like, I thought about that a long time ago, like 15 years ago, that the best thing to be a serial killer with serial killer would be to be a trucker, because you're crossing interstate lines and you're never in one spot, and you're never in one location, all that kind of thing. So so they the FBI had put together like not a task force, but a unit. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of look at these cases, these potential cases to serial killers that are truckers, and he wasn't aware of it. It had never crossed him or something. So anyway, that's what the so he researched it and everything, came up with the with the book. So it's pretty interesting. So Corey and I have talked about it a little bit here and there. So he went ahead
Nice.
and got me the book. So I'm excited to read it and excited to kind of educate myself on that subject matter. So thank you,
That
Corey.
is super
And
thoughtful of him.
happy. Yeah, he was like, "Hey, what's your email?" And I didn't know it. He was like, "Oh, it's this, it's so and so." And he was like, "All right, you're gonna get something in a second." And it was he had sent me the book. So thank you, Corey. I know it's his birthday, but I wanted to tell him thank you for the.
I love how you make his birthday about yourself.
I know, right?
That
Well, I
comes
wanted to
through and
thank
through.
him. I wanted to thank him off the show. So anyway, thank you, Corey.
But no, that's very, very he's like that. And for those of you who missed it, I did a collab with Corey several months back on Dimebag Daryl, and that was a really cool episode. And Corey was phenomenal with the research with that. So yeah, happy birthday, Corey. Hope you are having a fabulous birthday. Yeah, so let's see. Paul says happy birthday, Corey. K Dog says happy birthday. Your best years are behind you. Yeah, no kidding. So, all right. So let's transition into tonight. So let's see who's here. Tennis Girl 101. Smash the like button. Awesome. Thank you. We'll be on Rewatch Crew. Well, hope you're having a great, fantastic Friday evening. Hello, Todd, Tony L, Paul.
Is the other Paul here?
The other Paul.
Or what do you call him? What do you call
Oh, the better Paul. The better Paul has not been here in a little bit. That's upsetting because now we're left with just Paulcast and yeah, that's no fun.
James, did you
James
enjoy your
Watson.
nachos tonight?
Am I what?
Did James have nachos tonight?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Chris James, hello. Of course, K-Dog. James Watson, I'm not putting that on the screen, but I see your comment. Let's see. Howdy person formerly known as the Paulcast. That's amazing. Hey, Craig, good to see you, hun. Let's see. If you're self-educated, you probably won't get caught having sex with a teacher. Oh, I don't even know what that's in regards to, but
well, I think what he's referring to is all these female teachers getting busted for sex with students. I think there was 2 this week. I think there was 2 in the main news this week.
There was one I did half the notes for, and then I was like,
"Are you serious? Are you serious? What was it tied to murder?"
Well, no, it was more of
I'm not laughing.
True crime. No one's been murdered, but
it's
one of those when it involves kids. I try to be sensitive to that. I've very much noticed with the audience that we have here, you guys are very sensitive to that as well. So I try to be understanding of that. And in a nutshell, if this is something you guys want to go down your own path, I don't even want to mention this woman's name because she just makes me want to vomit.
Yeah, there was 2 of them this week. So I know my friend sent me one of them because my friend is one of my friends is there, because they're the boys are more in high school when it happens, right? And it's I'm just gonna call it what it is. It's like a dream or something, right? So one friend is out of boy, and
they don't understand.
And then the other friend is no, it's bad. It's no.
Yeah.
They need to go to prison. So it's like a red and blue argument type of thing, or good, bad, or whatever, however you want to call it. So yeah, so they every time and it happens a lot because one friend will post it and be like, "Look, see, it's happening again," and then the other friend will be like, "She needs to go to prison. She needs to go to prison." And then the other one's like, "What? What are you talking about? You should high five the kid or whatever, the high schooler."
Well,
just call it what it is. There's nothing wrong with it. Call it what it is. You can't just say it's what it is.
Kids that young don't understand the reality of what's happening. There's this fantasy of the young cute techer instead of what it really is, which is someone preying on a young kid.
Dude, when I was sophomore year, my Spanish teacher had just graduated. I think looking back, I think she probably was 25. Oh man, the whole school, everybody was in love with her.
Oh yeah, we all
Yeah,
had.
and like right,
Yeah.
and then yeah, and I've had a couple of friends admit to me like a long time ago that they might have
Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there.
yeah,
Don't go there.
but anyway,
Don't
yeah.
go
So
there.
anyway,
So the
but
case
like
I'm referring to, again, I will not even name the woman, Beckham. I'm sure you've heard about it this week. Is the
yeah.
teacher who had sex with her? I think he was like 11 or 12-year
No,
old
see
student.
that's yeah, that's
Got
well,
pregnant.
right,
And it
right.
wasn't until the kid's father saw the baby on Facebook and was like, that looks like my son. And the son confessed and was like, don't
Oh
say anything because
wow.
I don't want her to get in trouble. So yeah, now but
No,
it's like
that's elementary school. I'm talking like 17, like the 18
minor's
year
a
old.
minor. But yeah, you're right. It's becoming more and more. And I was debating talking about one of
Oh,
them
it's
because it's
happened.
been in the
No,
news, but I'm like,
it's
no, we're
always
not going
happened.
there.
It's always happened. It has always happened. Just real quick, I think I might have told the story, but like my dad, when he was dating this lady, her parents, this was like 2005. Anyway, back then, her parents, her dad was her mom's high school English teacher. But that was in the 60s. That was a different time. And it like they just a different time. Yeah,
Mm.
so I mean, I don't know, it's just the way it was.
Well,
So
times
whenever
have
they were telling
changed.
us, I was getting to know them. I was like, oh yeah, in simple conversation. I was like, how did y'all meet? I'm over
Mm.
here like making conversation that and they're like, oh well, the funny story is he was my high school. I was like my high school English teacher. I was like, whoa. I was like, what? It's like, oh my god. And I think at that time, one of my friends had opened up about what happened to him around the same time. So I
Beckham,
was
you
just
run in
like,
an
my
interesting
mind
circle.
was just blown at that moment. Like I was like, oh my god, what did I get myself into here?
To be in the friend group of Beckham, oh my
Oh, I
goodness.
got wild. You know my friend. You know some of my friends. I got wild
Oh, I do.
stories.
I sure do. But that's for those hot, juicy stories. That will be on the Danny After Dark Patreon that I don't have. Because, yeah, I'm going to make a buck off you. I'm not going to lie. These are the Beckham stories are. Let's move on before, yeah. So, all right, folks. Few hot stories this week. So, this was very much out of the blue, at least for me. Brittany Drexel is back in the news spotlight, and for I hope a good reason. I hope for justice. And for those who are not familiar with the Brittany Drexel case, I did cover that way back on Danny After Dark. So go back and check that out just to give you guys a good base as to what this case was in the murder of Brittany. Hey, Tony Stewart, good to hear you. Good to see you. Good to hear
Hey
from you.
Tony.
James Watson, I want to hear more about Beckham's Spanish teacher. No, we're not going there.
Old
You can
school.
message him on
And I went
Facebook.
to a big time high school.
No,
Like
Beckham zip it.
all the
James,
football
you can
players
message
were
Beckham on the side. We're not doing that here.
all the football players are getting in line, dude. It was funny.
Beckham, I will boot you so fast from this
I'm
channel, I'm
sorry.
not going to lie. So, Brittany Drexel. So, new information has come out about this case. So, Angel Voss is the girlfriend of Raymond Moody. And for those who do not know, Raymond Moody is the man convicted of the kidnapping, raping, and killing of Brittany Drexel. So, Angel lied to FBI agents during the 2022 investigation into the kidnapping and murder of Brittany. So, she may be facing now a longer prison sentence than was previously recommended. Angel initially told investigators that Brittany got into their vehicle voluntarily to, quote, party, end quote, with them. However, it was later revealed that Raymond and Angel lured Brittany into their car under the pretense of taking her back to her hotel. They drove Brittany to the Pole Yard boat landing near the North Santaré River. Then Angel left to run an errand. Angel has now admitted to lying to FBI agents about where she went after leaving the scene. Angel also told agents that Brittany had her phone throughout the encounter. However, the investigation revealed that Angel took Brittany's phone. In September, Brittany pled guilty to making false statements The plea came 2 weeks after she rejected a deal that could have lessened her sentence by about a decade. The deal that she refused was about a disagreement regarding the whereabouts on the night that Brittany disappeared. So the sentencing memorandum includes the summary of an interview with Raymond Moody that was conducted by investigators on November 11th. So this is important and in context. So Raymond received a letter from Roy T. Wiley, a civil attorney representing the Drexel family in a pending lawsuit against him. The letter stated that a portion of Raymond's property would remain in a trust for his grandchildren if he provided complete and true information about the abduction, rape, and murder of Brittany. So Raymond here, standing by Angel, who committed the crime with him. Yeah, no, they did not stand by each other. Raymond acknowledged that the information he shared in the interview could influence Angel's prison sentence. But he said the well-being of his grandchildren was his first priority, not Angel. So during the interview, Raymond told investigators that Angel had expressed, and this is just disgusting, and we'll talk about this. Angel expressed a desire to kidnap somebody before they ultimately decided on Brittany. Raymond said Angel sent him a text that said she always, quote, fantasized about snatching some girl, end quote. He also said that Angel had been hunting with him on the night of Brittany's murder. Hunting to them meant looking for a girl they could lure into their car to abduct and rape. Raymond said he and Angel drove up and down Ocean Boulevard looking for a girl to abduct. And that's when they saw Brittany and they decided she was the one that they were going to kidnap and rape. It was Angel who approached her and convinced her to enter the car. Raymond and Angel already set up a tent at the Pole Yard Landing in Georgetown for the planned attack. So again, this was completely premeditated. After kidnapping Brittany, they took her to that tent in the woods. So there's a bit more here. So I'm going to quickly pause because one, Beckham, I want to hear your input on this. And two, what we're going to talk about next will show that Angel had several opportunities to let Brittany go and chose not to. But thus far, Beckham, what are your thoughts on this?
Wasn't any drug use involved?
Drug use, not in regards to Brittany, no. And the article doesn't talk about any specific drug use from Raymond and Angel. Not to say it wasn't happening, it just wasn't talked about.
Wow.
They just sounded like sadistic people who wanted to.
Yeah, it's almost like the what's his name? Toy box killer?
Oh, David Parker Ray.
Well, similar, right?
Well, in regards to searching for the next victim.
Yeah, but he also had a partner. Well, didn't he have like a partner, a female partner just for like a moment? It wasn't the whole.
Well, he had his girlfriend who was a partner,
girlfriend, yeah,
and then also his daughter.
Yeah, and then he also had people that he knew that were into that stuff or something. But I don't know if they were necessarily aware of where he was taking or bringing the females from.
Right.
So they might not have known, but it just has parallels to it. Yeah,
Raymond is definitely throwing Angel under the bus here and saying, she was not only there for it, but she was a huge part of this and a huge motivation for what they did.
And then apparently she lied to she lied to law enforcement.
Yep. You don't lie to the feds. And I love how Raymond was so quick to throw her under the bus too. Like in regards to that's all it took was for them to be like, your property, do you want it to go to family? Tell us the truth. Yeah, so we did. But this murder was over, I want to say 14 years ago. And we're just getting.
Yeah, I was like, when I saw the date, I was like, I hadn't heard this case or anything like that on it.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
The comeback around in 2022, or right. So I had not heard of this case a long time ago.
Few people came in the chat. Hey, Matilda, good to see you. Tony Stewart, hello. And yes, I have Selena here with me in the back. All right. Okay. So in regards to Angel, we're learning she had, again, Raymond's going to, took the fall for this. Yes, Angel's charged for lying to feds, but her involvement here goes so much worse. So let's carry on.
Yep.
Raymond and Angel talked briefly once they abducted Brittany and brought her to the area where they already set up to sexually assault her. But Angel left that point to retrieve keys to their apartment. Angel then allegedly told Raymond not to rape Brittany until she returned, as they planned the assault together. Beckham, this is where there's going to be more of a slight David Parker Ray connection. When Angel returned, Raymond then left to go to his apartment to obtain a briefcase full of sex toys. Raymond left Brittany restrained, and Angel remained with Brittany in the tent while Raymond was
Here's
gone.
one of those points you were talking about where she could have let her go.
Well, when Angel left, she could have gone to police and said, "Hey,"
or just
it's so frustrating how many times each of them like came and went, where she could have like had one. It's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. So when Raymond returned with the briefcase full of sex toys, he then raped Brittany while Angel was in the tent. Raymond said he'd known before abducting Brittany Drexel that he was going to kill her. And this is what he did by strangling her outside the tent with a yellow nylon rope. Angel, during this time, was still sitting in the tent. So she was there when all of this went down.
Yeah.
When Raymond believed that Brittany was dead, he stabbed her in the heart with an ice pick. It's horrific. It's horrific. After Raymond and Angel, here we go. Raymond and Angel drove back to their apartment with Brittany's.
Wild.
Back on the neck. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish that was all. I really wish that was all. So after they killed Brittany, after sexually assaulting her, Raymond and Angel drove back to their apartment with Brittany's body in the back of their pickup truck, and they went to sleep. Angel and Raymond went to sleep.
I'm assuming they tarped the truck or something.
I don't know the specifics on that, but like how to go to sleep and just sleep so peaceful. Like, what the heck?
Well, that's why I was wondering if there was drug use. Or I guess not, because that Ray guy, he didn't use drugs either. I don't believe.
Which not that would make it okay.
I know, but
or explain anything.
Right. I'm just trying to make.
It just shows how truly evil that they were.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like their mind was not altered beyond their own madness. Is what I'm saying.
So after the FBI interview with Angel in 2022, Raymond was concerned that she might confess for their crimes, but he said it was, quote, too late to kill her now, end quote. So he gave her a false story to tell law enforcement about Brittany's abduction and murder if they were ever contacted by law enforcement again. So basically, like, here's the story, stick to it. So again, all of this information that just came out about Angel might impact her sentencing. And you know what? I freaking hope it does. I hope it does. So her sentencing is scheduled for February 13th. She faces a maximum of 24 years in prison. I think 24 years is actually pretty light.
I was gonna say, man, like she just had as much involvement in the murder or in the abduction and murder of this girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why. Yeah.
Yeah, she sounded like a big motivating force, and she had all these opportunities to save Brittany, but no, she made it very clear, like, don't do anything until I get back. Don't sexually assault her till I return because I want to be a part of it. Like, that's crazy. Crazy.
It just also goes to, it makes you wonder what else she might have been involved in, because that's just not to me, that's not a one and done type of thing.
I 100% agree.
But I could be wrong.
I completely agree.
That ain't a one and done, man.
It's
not for this purpose. I'm talking, it's a whole different thing if it was a completely different story and something completely different. But for this kind of thing, it would be, and you're talking about 15-year difference or something, or even before that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just seemed like she just seems, from what you're talking about and you're describing the story, is that she was just well accustomed to the situation. She felt comfortable.
Well, they
She was
both were.
well. I can understand him, right? I mean, but for a woman that you don't see this too often,
Mhm.
she was too comfortable, like you said. She slept so comfortable. They slept after in the morning with the body in the back.
Yeah.
So to me, it doesn't. It I don't know. It wasn't a one off for me. There had to have been. She had to have had other experience and prior experience before even coming in with this guy. And maybe I don't know. It just it would be interesting to kind of get where she was before and after this gruesome deal here.
Yeah.
That's just my thought and process.
I 100% agree with you. Tony Stewart here agrees with you as well. This was to cross the line to abduct someone and sexually assault someone, and then there was a murder of someone. It just seems this was too specifically planned out, in my opinion, for it to be like, hey, this
Sure.
is our first time trying this.
No, there's too there's so much formality and comfort in it.
Yeah. So again, her sentencing hearing is scheduled for February 13th. So we'll find out more very soon. And I mean, I know every state has its own set of laws in regards to what a maximum can be for, whatever charges are, put forth. I hope she gets the maximum. I mean, this whole maximum of
How
24
did
years in
they? Okay, so I'm
prison.
sorry. How did they? How did they get caught
How did they
originally?
get caught?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'd have to go back. I didn't look that far back into Raymond Moody.
Okay.
It took
Sorry.
a
I just I
while.
no. Yeah.
It
I was just
took a
sorry. It's just
while.
yeah. I was wondering. Well, just only because of how comfortable they were and they went to sleep and what that kind of thing. And then how did they end? I'm sure there was a missing persons or ordeal and that kind of thing. So
Oh
it would
gosh,
be
yeah. Brittany's
yeah.
family and
Right.
friends were looking for her because she went away for
Right.
spring break and to Myrtle Beach. Didn't tell her
Right.
mom. It
Yeah.
was it was just an innocent thing and she was leaving some friends at one hotel to walk to another and stumbled upon these two. And that was that. It's horrific. It's horrific. Yeah, I didn't go back and to research the specifics of the case. I just
You always want to tell young women, man, younger adults, and then of course college age, to be always go together, always do something together. Never go alone. It's unfortunate, but it happens, man. It's been happening for decades. I mean, this ain't the first time, right? But
not just
that,
women too,
yeah, yeah.
but I hear what you're
You know what
saying.
I mean?
Yeah.
Don't ever go somewhere alone. Don't at night. I mean, try to make sure that
Buddy
you
system and
kind
all
of
that.
yeah, your buddy system, all that, and that kind of thing.
And now with
Oh
technology, you
man,
can like
I used to
ping people's
always
phones,
yeah,
like keep a track of where they are. Like
sure.
if you're on a date, like here's where we'll be. If it goes anywhere else, that's not planned.
Boat docks boat docks, and I always told somebody, my aunt my aunt at the time too. I'd be like, look, man, even if you're going to the bathroom, I always had a knife. Here's a knife. Just take it with you in case you're just. I know the bathroom is not that far, but it's really dark and anything can happen. And it's open to the public, like the outside,
Yeah,
the
I've been
beach.
there.
Yeah,
I've
it's
been to
open
your
to the
boat.
public. People could be biking there late at night, walking there late at night. You never know where somebody's headspace is, and I was always, you know, wanting. I always told her, my aunt and whoever, hey, take the knife. Just go to the restroom, take the knife or whatever,
Yeah.
because you never
And it
know.
sucks we live in that world, but we live in that world.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. So a few comments here. Tony Stewart, second up, pretty in pink. Danny, thank you. That's very sweet of you. K Dog, Danny's inner Molly Ringwald, Beckham's Ducky.
I
That's
don't get it.
amazing. Oh boy, Beckham. Oh boy, Beckham. Danny's statement while on the jury, give him the maximum. Oh God, yeah. But you all know that is no surprise. 30 minutes in, and James Watson's phone's just notified him that I'm live. Better late than never, I guess. Lots of weirdos out there peeping in windows. Yeah, there are, yeah. Yep. Okay. So we'll keep y'all posted on that, and we should have that information soon because hearing's February 13th. So I saw one of y'all make a comment earlier about the next case. Where is it? Oh, I can't find who made it, but nonetheless, Karen Reed. There will never be a week where there's not a Karen Reed update. And like some of them are like, okay, updates here and there, but oh my gosh, Beckham.
There's too much going on for there not to be. Because both both the prosecution and defense are going back and forth on different things. So until this thing is legit over with, you're going to be hearing every week. There's going to be something. And I learned a term this week about it.
What was the term?
About what? Because Brennan's on the case, right? He's the new guy for the prosecution. Lawyers want their case, or I'm sorry, prosecution wants they always want their cases looking like fresh apples, bright red, just normal, ready, you know what I mean? Tasty looking. But Brennan has basically, you don't want them to have you don't want it to be a bruised apple, and that's a whole thing with lawyer. I didn't know this. I learned this week, researching the case. So Brennan has inherited a bruised apple with a bunch of bruises all over the place.
A bruised apple?
Yeah, or yeah. So so I learned that about that. I didn't know that. It's kind of funny. So
Corey Novak is here. Happy birthday, Corey. Go back to the beginning of the show later when you have time. We did a little birthday shout out for you. So a bunch of people in the chat gave you some love. So hope you're having an awesome birthday. Let's see. Tony Stewart. These are one of those cases I just hardly never paid attention to.
Oh, dude, this is great. This is an interesting case.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting because even if you're not from here and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't see the hype in regards to the way y'all see it up in Massachusetts. I get that.
No, this is coming up. No.
In regards to the law enforcement aspect of like the way they handled this investigation, what came out about it, what's still coming out.
Simpson 2.0, maybe 3.0. It might be. Well, I don't know if anything's gonna be worse than OJ, but.
This can happen anywhere, and this is investigating the murder of a fellow police officer.
It's up there, man. Yep.
So if someone who was up in that position can't even get a proper investigation into their death, like what chance do the rest of us have? But all right, so the updates that there were this week, and I'll save the best one for last because it's freaking wild. So
it's a bruised apple. Remember that.
Oh my gosh, Beckham. I'm allergic to apples. So I'm allergic to a lot of fruit, fun fact.
I'm gonna send you one.
Hey, Sam Smith. Yeah, don't you dare. So, all right. So an update. Last week we talked about the prosecution was trying to get the journalist Gretchen Voss to hand over all of her notes, on record and off record notes from her interview with Karen Reed. Gretchen Voss's attorneys argued against this because, again, this would impact all journalists because so much of what they get is off the record information. And who would want to go and give that anymore if on the chance a judge was like, nope, hand it over, and now that's all made public.
Hey, I used that terminology this week to somebody.
What term?
Off the record. off the record.
Did you just learn that phrase?
And it was no. It was probably just because like I had heard it with Reed, and I'm like, hey, off the record. I want to tell you something.
I love how Beckham is expanding his vocabulary all due to the Karen Reed trial.
Oh my God, get out of here.
So a decision was made by Judge Beverly Cannoni. She, as in Gretchen Voss, will not have to hand over her handwritten notes from an off-the-record interview with Karen Reed. Again, she will not have to hand over her handwritten notes. So after reviewing the notes in question and hearing from several First Amendment and journalism advocacy organizations, Judge Bev agreed with Gretchen and her attorneys. Quote, the court concludes that the content of the off-the-record notes at issue are of different character than the unredacted recordings of the on-the-record interviews produced pursuant to the court's previous order. So again, the journalist Gretchen Voss will not have to hand over those notes. So that was one thing. There was 3 things that happened. So on Thursday, so yesterday, Hank Brennan, as Beckham has mentioned, the special prosecutor, he has attempted to argue that there should be a hearing to determine whether defense expert Richard Green can testify. The prosecutors do not want Richard Green to testify. That is because Richard Green is the expert saying that Jennifer McCabe's Google searches of how long to die in the cold was made at 2:27 a.m., hours before Officer John O'Keefe's body was found. Of course, the prosecution has been trying to give the version of, well, actually that was searched on an internet page that was already open when they found Officer O'Keefe, and Karen Reed told her to look that up.
So instead of saying Mr. Green with the candlestick in the study, you're gonna say Mr. Green with the Google search info.
How long
from the Apple computer, from the Apple phone.
So for a strike again against the state in the prosecution, Judge Beverly Cannoni ruled that there's no reason that Richard Green cannot testify. So Hank Brennan's motion was denied. So the third one, which is, oh my God, back in my note, you're going to have a field day. You're absolutely going to have a field day. But quickly, Karen Diamond, hello, welcome, sending love from Australia.
Hello.
Thank you. Look at that, Danny and Beckham. So good to see you together.
Well, hello.
I'm sorry, what?
I was trying to do my Australian
That was
accent.
British.
That
was British.
Well, you know what I was trying to do.
Karen Diamond, can you please follow up in the chat and just roast Beckham for that British accent?
Wait, weren't they British? Well, weren't they British ruled for a long time? What is that?
I don't know the history of Australia.
Don't even come at me with history, Miss. I don't know about the Redcoats coming into Boston.
Look at it. You're getting Corey Novak all riled up.
I should have said hello, mate.
I can't.
Hello, mate. Dude, I met these 2 crazy Australian dudes, man, at the week before the week during UFC 200 in Vegas. Man, those guys were some crazy party animals, man. We kind of hung out with them the whole time we were there. Some good dudes.
The chat is coming to your defense here, and I'm really not digging it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, it was kind of Australian sounding. Thank you. Who said that? That's the comment of the night, Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart, yeah, you're going to be on a certain list of mine, I'll tell you that. What is this? The British used to send their.
I knew there was tied. Yeah, it was tied somehow to the British.
Renee is, of course, Renee would know this. Renee knows all, so I do not question it. If this is what Renee is saying.
Thank you, Renee. Yes,
it's fact. I stand by.
It kind of went there. It went together. You got to admit it.
All right, Corey Novak, you're the birthday boy, so I'll allow an interruption of true crime for this question. UFC.
I don't even know what UFC you, Corey. I do not have my picks. I will send you my official picks tomorrow.
I don't even know what that
I'll send
means,
them to you officially. I'm gonna make an official thing and I'll send it to you.
Okay, y'all know how I am so not into sports. I learned that there's a Super Bowl on
Oh
Sunday.
my God, get out of town,
I
dude.
swear.
Oh my, get out of here.
I swear. And I got excited because there's the puppy bowl
Oh
and the
yeah,
chicken
there's a puppy
halftime
bowl
show. That's
on
what,
Saturday or something. Yeah.
but yeah, someone mentioned Super Bowl and I was like, what? What? I'm not into sports, so it is what it is. No sports. No,
The next big sporting event after football until baseball starts is WrestleMania. It's in April. And
I
it's
was
in
really into
and it's
wrestling
in
back in the
Las
day.
Vegas.
I read that.
So
Yeah,
be
I used to
ready.
go to wrestling events back in the day. I was so into
Be ready.
WWE.
Can you imagine going to Vegas for like WrestleMania? That would be kind of cool. I ran
Mm,
into Becky Lynch at the MGM in 2019.
interesting. Renee said there's March Madness.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well,
Tony
it lasts
Stewart.
a week or
The
so.
beautiful Shelly. Hello, my beautiful friend and my handsome guy, and all you lovelies in the chat. Good to see you, Shelly. Not
What's up,
interested.
babe?
I used to be. No, I have met like so many wrestlers way back in
Yeah,
the
I know.
day.
Did you meet The Rock?
Yeah, I kissed him on the cheek.
What?
True story. True story.
He had last year's WrestleMania. He kind of had a cool story, the storyline or whatever, the storyline. He
Mhm.
was the final boss. Get it? The last boss. It's kind of, well, he's older, and he had his own belt. He had his own championship belt. He didn't even win it. He just showed up. He didn't even show up. He just wore. He was his own champion. It was funny.
Yeah, I have because that was back in the day when you actually had to get like picture film developed. I have like a what's it called, like a plastic bin of like all, and I've have them like in order of like all the wrestlers I would meet when I would like
Who
go
was
to
your
the
favorite
Edge,
at that time? Oh,
Edge and the
Edge.
Hardy
Yeah.
Boys. I was
Yeah.
really into Edge.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, met him. I've met so many.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I would skip school and go into the garden in Boston and get there at like 7 in the morning and just stand there all day because they would
Oh
come
my
in
God, you were a
at all
hardcore
different
dude.
times.
You were like a hardcore fan.
Oh, hardcore. Me and my guy friends, we would stand there
Oh
all day
wow.
and they'd all come out in like most of them as they were driving in, they'd sign autographs, they'd pose for pictures. It was just, yeah, that's what I did all day when they would come to the garden. So I've met so many of them. It was cool. But then I just lost interest in wrestling.
You know
So
who Bret the Hitman Hart was?
yeah.
Okay, so I heard this funny thing. That's funny. Real quick, because real quick, because I know we had to get back to the Reed thing. But this guy called into some radio station like a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about wrestling and all that because WrestleMania was going to come up or whatever. And the guy was like, "Yeah, when I was little, my mom hooked up with Bret the Hitman Hart," and they were like, "What? How? What happened?" He was like, "I don't know." He came in and asked my mom if she wanted to go play checkers with him, and she just left me there with my uncle. It was funny the
Wild.
way he told it. Yeah, that dude, the DJ guys were laughing. They're like, "Man, she just left you for checkers? Just like that, huh?" It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh my God. Yeah. Let's okay. You know who I used to go to a lot of events with? The Liz.
Really? No way. Liz was into wrestling?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm. Oh
That's
gosh,
funny.
message her later. Yeah.
That's
We would go to the
funny.
garden together. She didn't go as often as I did.
Yeah.
No shade to her. I was just like super, super hardcore. But yeah, Liz was into wrestling. I think Liz still watches some pay-per-views, to be honest. I think she still does. I don't. I lost
Well,
interest.
they moved over to Netflix, so you can kind of catch some stuff on Netflix. But I don't think you can watch WrestleMania on Netflix. I don't know. Maybe you might be able to. I don't know. But
Tony Stewart, you have no idea. It's so funny because people that like know me from like back in the day, like Liz, like it's just like, oh yeah, that was Danny. And then like people who meet me now and hear of like my stories back then, they're like, you of all people. I'm like, am I just boring? No, I don't know.
I don't know, man. You promised me like like the dungeon thing in Salem, and it was kind of like
Okay, Beckham. Somebody besides Shelly,
right,
who's in
Shelly,
the
Shelly,
chat.
right. Come on.
Besides
It
Shelly,
was like I
everybody
was
else
like
is probably
excited. I was like,
into
oh,
that being
we're gonna
like,
get a
Danny, we
witch. We're gonna get a
promised
witch,
Beckham
like
what?
a dungeon thing, and I was all excited, and it was yeah,
Beckham, it was
do, 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 do,
Beckham.
do,
We
do,
agreed
do,
that
do,
you
do,
could
do.
tell the story that you brought two lovely ladies into a dungeon.
That's true. I did.
Yeah, you sure did. You sure did. Anywho, before this takes
James,
the
I can just see Liz swearing at the screen. Ref, that was illegal.
don't let her like sweet demeanor fool
Who was
you.
your favorite tag team? Oh, it was Edge and what's his name? They were the tag.
Christian,
They were a tag team, right?
Edge and Christian, but then they were
Yeah,
also
or
part of the Brood.
yeah, that's right. With the girl, what was the girl's name?
Luna.
Yeah, they had a girl with them, right? I
Yeah, it was
remember.
Luna. Yeah. Oh man, that's like that's another lifetime ago when I was into that. But anyway. All right, back to Karen Reed part 3. And this is the one that Beckham, we're going to talk about this. If you have not seen it live, go to YouTube and watch it, because I feel like you would yell at your computer screen about Hank Brennan. Like, it was so infuriating. And so for those of you who are like, Danny, what the hell are you talking about? This Thursday, we also heard at court the discussion about the video footage from inside the Canton Police Department Sallyport. Again, quick reminder, Karen Reed's vehicle was towed from her parents in Dighton to Canton. It should not have gone there. It should have gone to a Mass State Troopers garage. It passed 2 of them at
I know.
least
I know. You always
on the way to Canton.
that just messes with me every time you say it.
Yep.
I thought it was 3 of them, but it's 2.
It was
Okay.
like it was at least 2. I can't
At least 2.
remember how
Okay.
many offhand, but it should
That's
never
still
have
though.
gone to there.
That's one more than it should have, right?
Mm-hmm. So Karen Reed's legal team, and we talked about this a bit last week, that they want the state to pay for travel expenses for one of her defense experts. That defense expert charged $12,230 to fly in to Boston to examine the security system at the Canton Police Department. Defense attorney Alan Jackson said Canton Police did not preserve the footage, but it was not discovered that they destroyed it until the expert arrived. Special prosecutor Hank Brennan said he has tried to give the defense, quote, the best opportunity I can to get them what they want, end quote. Quote, if I stand back and do nothing, there are claims that just float in nowhere and a lie unchecked becomes the truth. So I must stand before you and tell you what happened. End quote. And then he told the judge, adding the defense has, quote, distorted this into some type of injustice, end quote. Hank Brennan said he didn't attempt to mislead the defense. He added that he did not believe there would be video when the expert arrived, but he didn't know for certain. Hank Brennan said, quote, this is not a setup. You should deny their motion. Nobody was misled. They've taken a professional courtesy and parlayed it into a misjustice.
No, he's trying to. Okay, remember when I talked about the bruised apple?
Mm-hmm.
He knows what happened. He knows he's trying to work around the bruised apple. He's trying to bite into, literally, everybody's eating one of those where it just looks like you want to eat it, but it's got like these indentions and this weird thing, but you're trying to find the sweet spot. That's what Brennan's doing. He knows that they messed up. He knows that what he got himself into now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to twist the apple to find the nice part of the apple. That's what he's trying to, and that's what I learned this week about the whole apple thing. And I was like, you know what? That's pretty good. And that's their terminology. They use that. I didn't know that. So it makes complete sense now. And that's what Brennan is doing.
Matilda agrees with you. Oh, wrong comment. Yep. So Alan Jackson responded, claiming the missing video evidence is, I'm going to butcher this, exculpatory. So Judge Beverly Cannoni did not rule on that motion. She's going to take the arguments under advisement. It blows my mind. And we talked about this last week. how in the hell so they destroyed video
No.
evidence and then
Yeah,
had this
right.
expert fly out. They
No,
knew. They knew.
yeah, but there's okay, so there's supposed to be evidence that it's gonna show if that car has any damage to it. It's gonna come out on this week coming up. It's gonna come out whether the tail light was broken.
I
Can
feel
you
like that's
imagine if
still one
it's
of those.
not broken? What would you do?
Capone. Hey, Capone. Did you say Alan Jackson? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's just. I
Danny,
feel like that's
what do
still
you
going to
do if
be
the
for debate.
footage? What are you gonna do if the footage comes back? The footage is there. It's been somebody found it. Somebody saved it. Did you know that?
Where'd you hear that?
There's been some sort of some third party. It was a third party person came in and saved it.
Mm,
So
I
they're
have
gonna.
not heard that.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you were gonna talk about actually tonight.
I've
So
not heard
yeah,
that.
I think there's a third party that has gotten that actually had saved it, I believe, and they're gonna present it. So you're gonna see whether there's damage to the vehicle or not.
Quickly, Matilda says they knew her car was the weapon. They have to keep any and all video forever.
There was a third party that saved it.
It's so infuriating. Like, so what is the prosecution here? I just feel like each time we as in the Commonwealth are having these hearings, the prosecution in the state, like we walk away from this and like, y'all didn't look good in the first trial. And these little hearings we're having to prepare for round two, you're looking bad at each one of them. Like, why are we shining a spotlight on this? It's just going to get worse. Just cut your losses. Y'all fucked up this case. Cut your losses and move on. It's so infuriating. We so as Matilda's saying here, like, what is their angle? We know she did it. Her vehicle hit him, but yeah, the video evidence that we got with her car here, yeah, we got rid of it. What? All right, Beckham, have some words of wisdom for me. I don't know.
Well, I'm already telling you. This is again. There's no way you could. It just really just kind of boggles my mind that there would be such carelessness with the evidence to to secure it, handle it, all that, right? To where it's destroyed or lost, or I mean, come on, to where a third party is doing your work for you and just happen to still have it, luckily. And I mean, what is that going to say about we already know that department is just, again, remember, Brennan is trying. You gotta commend him for it. I mean, but that's what they brought him in for, to spin the apple, turn the apple, and try to find the right spot, because that's a very bruised apple in this case for the prosecution. There's just, it's rotting. There's just so much rot. It's a rotten apple, and if he's trying to figure out where the best, to take advantage of where he can, and there really isn't much room for him, is there? Right?
No.
No, there isn't.
The way he was like, this isn't a setup.
Well,
Nobody was misled.
Well, he's trying. You gotta give it to him. He's trying to do the best work he can. You got to commend him for. Don't blame him for anything. He's trying to help them build a case, or trying to figure this out, right? To make it look like, okay, well, this is what we have. This is, and we're telling you she committed murder, and this is what we're gonna try to present. Remember, the only way I can look at it, he's turning the apple, trying to find the best portion that's left of it, because it's really,
you're right.
It's
No,
really
you're right.
bruised. You can't be angry at him. He's trying to do a job, and he's got a ton of experience. He's got experience for, I don't know how many years, 3 decades, 30 years, or something like that. 25 years, 30 years, and he's dealt with feds, he's dealt with the mob, he's dealt with the highest levels of court, right? The highest level of cases, and he's trying his best to present what minimal there is of evidence, or to get this, like you said, for a jury to indict, or to find her guilty. So
yeah, and you are right in regards to the prosecution, like even in the first trial, they could only work with what was given to them, and what they were given
right, because
was,
it was a bad case. It was just terrible.
but to go from that and say we're going to retry, and like it just that's where I'm like, wait, what? Like, you saw what you were given. It's so frustrating. Matilda says he's going to get schooled at the trial. Few of you guys made comments about
he could. I mean, right? He could, and it's not because he's going to be outsmarted. That ain't going to happen. You're talking about a well-seasoned lawyer here. He is not technically going to be outsmarted. It's what he's working with, right? And he's trying to salvage what he can, or go with what he has. That's what he's trying to do. So, I mean, to me, man, it shouldn't even, if this third party evidence, if they have evidence of this third party of the actual footage, and I'm just hoping it just knocks everything out. He got paid. Brennan got his money up front for whatever the money he got, and they just close it. It's dismissed. That's what needs to happen. We know that needs to happen. The agency that investigated the case, whatever you want to call it, the state or whatever, local people, they're all, I mean, and then you have to really you need to almost turn it back around and open an investigation into possible murder of somebody, indict somebody else.
That'll never happen.
Well, I'm just saying, because that looks really, really bad. This whole
thing, I agree.
Yeah, this thing stinks all the way around. The judge should, I don't even know why this lady is even still. Yeah, it's just, she should have dismissed it a long time ago.
Yeah. A few of you have comments about this. Well, K-Dog says Karen looked really good this last time in court. Okay. Capone, I've never seen a car leave bite marks on someone.
Oh, that's right. He was bruised in different parts of his body, away from where he might have gotten hit with the car. That's 1A. Well, 1B was the bite marks. That's a good. Thanks, Capone, for bringing that back into the fold there.
Yeah, K-Dog, they're trying to scare them into a plea deal.
No, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not. I agree.
Jackson ain't gonna fall. Jackson ain't gonna do that. Hell no. His ego's too damn big for that. Hell no.
Yeah. Let's see.
Now, what I would have enjoyed, hold on, what I would have actually enjoyed watching, Danny, would have been Jackson versus Brennan with a actual case. That would have, like, but the investigation it's a debacle from the get-go. So he's just, like I said, he's trying to find something, man, and save it. That's what he was brought in. And we talked about this. We talked about this months ago. That's what he was brought in to do.
Matilda says, Beckham, I truly hope so. Yeah. It's just, it's so frustrating. Like, because we heard all this on Thursday when they were back in court, and it's like, okay. But then, like, to hear this last one with this whole, like, video going missing from the, like, or destroyed, not even going missing, destroyed. And just hearing, it makes me so angry. It makes me so angry. But yeah, I don't know. We will keep y'all posted on that. So, all right, 2 more things to touch base with you guys. So yeah, tonight's not particularly a ton of stuff, but the ones that are with new information, the new cases with information, it's kind of big ones. So Stephen Stearns, in regards to the murder of Madeline Soto, we've kind of talked about that just a little bit here, because again, it involves the murder of a 13-year-old child, Madeline Soto. So I encourage everybody, if this is a case that you want to learn more about, do so on your own, because there's a lot here that would just, it's one of those ones where I know you guys as the audience, just it's a lot. So, and another example of just being absolutely infuriated. So Stephen Stearns, he is the one who murdered 13-year-old Madeline Soto, and it came out that he was raping her for years. So he was dating Madeline's mother, and again, had been raping Madeline for years. It's horrific. So what he and his attorneys are trying to do is get the death sentence removed from possible sentencing. The reason being is his attorneys and him filed motions seeking to have the penalty removed. They state it's unconstitutional. What the hell, man? It's just like I hear stuff like that and I'm like, oh, raping a child for years on end, that was, in his mind, that was okay. Murdering her, that was okay. Misleading investigators, that was okay. But now your punishment for that? Oh, no, 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 no. Now we've crossed a line here. It just made me so infuriated. Have you been following this case at all, Beckham, or have you heard much
No.
about it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of all. I'm going to kind of update that with y'all for this.
Sorry,
Again, not one of those cases I'm going to do a deep dive in on here. I've been following it for a while, but not talked about it a ton on camera. So again, involves the murder of a 13-year-old child. So we will. Okay. So Tony Stewart doesn't think he's heard of it either. So
no,
it's just horrific. This guy is horrible, horrible, horrible in how he was found, and how he was the one that police were like, all right, yeah, it was him. That's a whole thing in itself too. But so the last case to talk about tonight, K-Dog, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. So Richard Allen from Delphi. So, and Beckham, in regards to anytime when it comes to like court stuff, I always like to get your opinion on that. So his attorneys, as we know, he was found guilty.
Right. This
the
was
murder of
confusing
Abby and
because,
Libby.
right. This was a little bit confusing to me because, like, is it possible he could walk?
I think it's depending on what side you're leaning towards, because he still has a strong network of people that say he's innocent.
Yeah, that's okay. It's crazy.
Yeah, what is being put forward for this particular thing, I don't think he'll get a new trial. So
I'm sorry, new trial, not necessarily for any, but yeah.
So his attorneys want a new trial because of, quote, wrong amount of fingers, new evidence. However, nothing that they're putting forward is actually new. So the things that they are putting forward, his defense attorneys at the time of his trial had all this information. They never brought it up during the first trial. So therefore, it's really not new information, but or new evidence, but they're pushing forward as though it is. So ultimately, again, I get it. The defense has a job to do. They just really have to try everything here. So the defense, again, instead of using all of these things that they had this information on and chose not to bring up during the trial, instead, remember they put out to the public about the Onanism, whole,
right.
That
the whole the cult stuff or something.
The cult aspect. But they also, which was really just disgusting of them, they tried to claim that Libby's sister was actually the one who committed the murder and the murders. And it's like, you're she's grieving. She lost her sister and you're just going to throw her under come on. So that's what they did. But the new information and evidence that they're saying is Ron Logan did it. Again, Ron Logan was looked at as a suspect and ruled out, but they never brought that up during the first trial, even in passing, never brought it up. They're bringing up the timing of the white van that drove by in regards to Abby and Libby's cell phone, because the timing of that white van driving by would impact, was Richard Allen there at the time? But one of the things in the confessions that Richard Allen said was and I'm getting forgive me for not having the exact verbiage, but he stopped because the white van drove by, and only the killer would have known that a white van drove by the area at that time. The big thing here to me is that this new evidence is they want to get the transfer of Richard Allen to a different facility off, like just like that transfer should have never happened. But the reason they want that transfer to kind of never have happened is because it is there where Richard Allen made the 61 confessions. But regardless of where he made it, so even if the judge said, okay, he shouldn't have been transferred to this, this location, that doesn't mean that they're going to toss all of his confessions out. He made those on his own accord. So it's just so frustrating. Like the fact that the family like the victims' families have to like go through this again and again and again. But I don't know. Beckham, what do you think about this?
Like I said, it was confusing to me, but I thought it was more of a procurement evidence issue. So I was kind of thrown off about it. So again, to me, it's still like a confusing type of thing because he was found guilty and all that kind of thing, and then just to come in and say, well, wait a minute, hold on. No, I mean, I don't know. It's just like I said, I'm gonna have to let it play out. I can't have an opinion yet. Sorry.
No, that's completely fair.
Yeah, just because again, it lost me. I'm gonna have to go back and look at everything, only because it just the DNA. Was it like again the DNA? Supposedly they had DNA. Now they finally put out the pictures of the crime scene and out. I believe, right?
I don't search for those.
Oh, well, I haven't looked at them. I probably won't, but you can see they took a picture or something of a man, and he like resembles the guy. And I mean, I don't
Bridge
know.
Guy? Like the photos of Bridge Guy?
No, just some. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, yeah, I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem right to me. But again, I'll have to go back and look before I can comment on it.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. Yeah, I guess I could understand it, not
See,
that I would
it's
agree.
thrown. Yeah, you're a little bit off of it too. It's just, I don't know.
I just think this one, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, it's one thing if he tried to argue ineffective counsel. Like, everybody who's mostly found guilty tries that. And I get that. Not that I would agree with it, but I get that. But for his attorneys to say, oh, this new evidence that just came up, when no, it was never new. We all knew this. Your attorneys knew this. And if they didn't, then that's wild. But they all knew it and they chose not to bring it up at court. So I don't think he's going to get a new trial based on that. But a few of you in the comments are mentioning, Tony Stewart, the original suspect, the original suspect that died. So Ron Logan is dead. So it's easy for them to say, "Oh, he did it. He can't."
That's what I'm saying. Like it's weird to me. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and he was somebody that the police were looking at.
Right.
In regards to Tony Stewart saying, didn't the original Ron
Yes.
Logan confess to another inmate? So that's the thing. The supposed confession from Ron Logan to another inmate, that other inmate went forward to law enforcement and say, hey, Ron Logan confessed. So you have to look at, is that other inmate to be believed? Did they make that up to try to leverage some type of bargaining tool so that they could get out of jail sooner for whatever they were put in there for? Like, you kind of have to weigh that out. Is it credible? Is that confession credible? Some will say it is, some will say it isn't. But it's very convenient on the defense to say Ron Logan did it when Ron Logan is dead and can't defend himself. Um, let's
Tony
see.
Stewart's like, why would an innocent confess to something? I don't know. That's all. I've always thought that was weird too.
So Tony Stewart, okay, let's go with that. Why would somebody innocent confess? So if Ron Logan confessed, let's say he did, confessed once to this prison informant, why did Richard Allen confess 61 times?
Yeah.
If that's the argument.
It's a little weird, man.
Mm-hmm. K-Dog saying there was stuff on the inmate confession that wasn't public. Correct. Witnesses changed testimony. Rod Logan asked someone to lie for him before the girls' bodies were found. Sometimes the judge can hinder evidence. That is correct. A lot of problems with the doctor that was interviewing him. The judge would not allow so much in by the defense. They couldn't bring it up. Correct. I believe that's why they couldn't bring it up. That's not English. Bring up the
See, this whole case is
cult
confusing to
theory.
me, man. I mean, it's just
Yeah, it's
when I saw the headlines to this thing, man, I was like, wait a minute, what? I thought the guy was found guilty and it was closed and everything, you know?
mm,
And I was just like, man, I was like, honestly, I don't know enough to. That's why I thought there was like some kind of a mess up with DNA or something, or some of the evidence that I had gathered or something like that. That's what I was kind of going along with, but
mhm.
I don't know.
And I will say there have been some really good podcasts like
Yeah, that
Defense
have kind of
Diaries.
like really stayed on it.
Yeah, like Defense Diaries.
Yeah,
Bob Mata, who's brilliant beyond belief. I've met him at each crime con I've been to. Awesome, awesome. He is smart as can be. And he's a defense attorney. And he
well, there
has
you go.
raised him and his
Yeah,
wife, Allison, some excellent points,
sure.
kind of where I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. So does give a little bit room for pause. Was there enough where it changed my opinion on the verdict? No, but it was enough where I was like, okay,
Right.
I get what they're saying.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Then that's what I'm saying. I just don't like.
Hmm.
It's just confusing. It can be. It's
Yeah,
just like a toss up almost.
right. To me, it's more so this new tactic by the defense. I'm calling it tactic, whatever the right word is. But saying that this new evidence where none of it is new. It's just I was just like, all right, come on. Like there's a million other angles you could try, like ineffective counsel. You could try. I don't know.
Really, Danny?
Wait,
Calling
what?
that ineffective counsel? I was like,
That
really?
that's what they do.
I know.
That's what you do. That's what you do. I'm telling you. Yeah. But that wasn't done here. So
Right.
I don't know. Confessions didn't match at all. Richard Allen's is what you're saying. Richard Allen's confessions didn't match at all.
That's always been something that's just not right, not sat good with me. All these people that make these false, like, oh, I did it. Yeah, I did it. This was what I know, and you're like, it doesn't. It doesn't. What are you trying to? What do you want the notary for it or something? Like
Yeah.
it does.
It's
Yeah,
not a new thing and it won't end.
I know it's crazy. I don't exactly. It's just something that you're just like, oh my, that you make no
K-Dog,
sense, man. You're just sitting in front of them and you're like, why, why, why?
K-Dog saying, why did it take a month for a warrant to search Ron Logan's home? I tend to believe the guilty compared to years ago. Tony Stewart, I see so much corruption in the news with judges, cops, prosecutors. It's like the police court mafia today. Yeah, good point.
That's always been a thing.
Good point. K-Dog, he may be guilty, but I don't think he received a fair trial. K-Dog,
Mm.
that's spot on to what a lot of people have been saying.
Well, then if that's the case, then you have to retry it. Because just like you said, it has to be done the right way, right?
Guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So, but the issue of having a fair trial is something a little bit separate.
Well, yeah, it's two different. Yeah, but they kind of go to.
Yeah, no, you're right. James, Boston Strangler, false confession. I don't think Albert. Wait, why is that funny?
I don't know. Just James bringing in something.
I don't think Albert DeSalvo is the Boston Strangler.
What?
Didn't. Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's a whole other. That's a show
covered the
topic.
case.
That's a show topic right there.
I covered the case. So if you go back and say, well, wait a minute, Danny, you covered the Boston Strangler as Albert DeSalvo. I covered it
as
the narrative put forward.
As that.
I don't think it was him.
What?
I do not think it was him.
Wow.
Nope. It was so he had access to a lot of news.
Okay, so you see somebody as passionate as you are about this case has the same affliction in the other case.
Well, the reason being he had Albert DeSalvo had a lot of access to news. So the things he was confessing to, the things he got right were in the news. Yeah. The details he got wrong were also in the news. And I think it was very convenient for Boston cops to be like, all right, we got this guy who's been terrorizing us. Let's wrap it up. Done.
It kind of has like a zinger for a nickname there, doesn't he?
I don't think he was.
The Boston Strangler.
I don't know who was. It's not like I have an alternate name to be like, I think it was this person. I don't think it was Albert DeSalvo. I've never thought it was Albert DeSalvo. But nonetheless, I know I covered the case. You
really pushed a button on her tonight.
Capone. Oh, bringing up Beckham's rabbit hole here. There were false confessions in the John Bonet case.
Yeah, that's kind of where I got that from too.
Mm-hmm. Tony says going to court today means you're guilty until proven innocent. I'm giving you a star for that, Tony Stewart. You are absolutely right that everything has changed. And even once somebody is proven innocent, their reputation is just, it's gone. People still look at like, well, maybe they did. It's not right. It's not right. This has nothing to do with him being from Boston, Danny. No, if I think
Danny's being a homer.
No, there are plenty of very corrupt, horrible people from Boston that commit murders that get in trouble the way they should and get sentenced or put to death the way they should. I just don't think it was him. I think he was guilty of, oh God, I'm blanking the name. Was it the green man? Oh, I need to look this up. It's going to bother me. He was charged, like he would go to the measuring man. He would go to different women's homes, knock on the door and be like, oh, I'm from a modeling agency. Can we get your measurements and you'll get some money? And then he would go in the homes once they invited him in and rape these women. I do think he was guilty of being that, but the actual Boston Strangler, no, I do not. Today you are guilty in the court of social media before you even go to court. I'm giving that a star too. You're absolutely right. Danny's favorite local serial killer is the Boston Ninja Intruder. That is true. Everybody from Boston is guilty, even if they are innocent. Oh, I'm giving that a star. That's pretty good. Thank you. All right. Okay, so that was all the notes that we had for tonight. Beckham, anything else you want to add?
Okay, so with the Karen Reed thing, it's like what did I send you in the note real quick? Hold on, let me get back in there.
Backup copy.
Yeah, hold on, where am I?
Private chat?
Yes, what did I put in there?
Do you want me to read it?
Oh yeah, a backup copy was okay. So I remember there was a backup copy of a third party or something like that, and it was never listed on the log, so the defense didn't know about it. It's trust me, they're gonna go. They have not seen it yet. They have it. They're gonna see what's on it. You're gonna hear about that next week. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's what Brennan was probably alluding to. Brennan was like, "Well, wait a minute. It's your due diligence to make sure you have all the. Remember, he's doing a job, or he's right. So he's basically saying that's what was happening. He was basically saying, hey, it's y'all's job to get all the evidence too. You know, it's your job to look through the logs, ask over and whatever, shuffle through everything, shake it, whatever. Make sure you got all the evidence, right, or whatever. And because apparently that's what happened. It wasn't logged. The backup copy wasn't logged into the official log, so they didn't know it existed. But there was a saved copy by a third party, whatever service or whatever that
Yeah.
saved it. So it does exist, and they're gonna go through it. They have the defense. They haven't gone through it yet, and Brennan hasn't gone through it yet either. He just learned about it. Can you imagine? That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's where I got that whole thing from this week about the apple, like yeah, the bruised apple thing. So yeah, so that's what it is. So next week could be like breaking news and this and that. We'll see.
Yeah.
Nobody has seen it yet, as of today or yesterday.
Matilda's saying there's a motion to dismiss coming up. Brady violations.
We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely wild. K-Dog, on a side note of a different case, many think Brian Koberger is going to plea if death penalty not taken off. I don't know. Beckham, what do you think?
The what?
K-Dog saying many people think Brian Koberger is going to plea if the death penalty is not taken off. I don't think he'll plea.
Okay, with that case, it's coming into Danny. This is a serious thing. Like, I'm being serious.
Mm-hmm.
The gathering of the DNA might not have been done properly legally. That's one thing. We'll see. And the second thing is, I keep telling you, they're really going to look into. They're really looking into the. There's kind of some new information coming out about the survivors, because their stuff is not adding up to anything anymore. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. It literally it doesn't, and they're gonna really come at them hard. So I don't know, man. If this guy did it or not, I don't know. But first of all, the evidence could be thrown out, the DNA stuff, because might not have been gathered legally. And then if if all the survivors and the witnesses are in suspect, or not suspect, but their stories and whatnot, don't align with everything, it could really be damaging to this case. And it's possible this guy, I don't know, man. We'll see, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That was this whole week, what I just talked about, that, or within the last 2 or 3 days.
Capone's going off what you were saying. Yeah, Capone, I remember you saying that right from the beginning.
Now it's coming out that there's more information that they weren't telling, and the defense is finding out, and they're going to really bring it forward, and they are not going to be credible whatsoever. And if they're not credible and you poke major holes into their stories, you're not going to have a case. And then the evidence is thrown out. I'm just telling you, be ready for that.
I know what you're saying.
That was this week, those two things right there. And I already went into a deep dive about the roommates and everybody in there. They had ties to organized crime. And I don't mean organized crime as in like the mafia. I'm talking about they knew people in criminality, to just put it out there, drug dealers. And I'm just saying that a huge dive to it involves another federal law enforcement agency that does not want to might not want to get involved because they have a bigger case that they don't want to get involved with this at all. It could hamper their cases that they have going. But I don't know. We'll have to just see how it all comes out. But yes, Capone, their stories are not adding up. And there's actually new information I believe the defense has that they're going to hold on to when the case starts, and it's really going to be damaging to those roommates. A lot of this stuff does not make any sense whatsoever, and it's just like bunch of curves. Just doesn't makes no sense what they've said, but they're already poking holes in their stuff. And I think they got more information that's really going to put holes into their stories.
I mean, regardless of what side you're on,
I'm just saying, I'm just going by what's the evidence and stuff. I don't.
No, you're right. I mean, that's the prosecution's job is to kind of, the roommates, surviving roommates will definitely be very much
there's no and there's no weapon,
and even the victims.
There's no weapon.
Regardless of what side you're on in this case, that's going to happen at trial.
Yeah, I know, and it could get ugly. I mean, the victimology and all that kind of stuff, what their backstories were, the truths are going to come out. It's unfortunate, but this thing could actually turn bad. This whole case could really turn ugly. You know what I mean? Like it's you know what I'm saying? Like truths are going to come out, holes are going to be poked in the stories, and all kinds of stuff. So we'll see how it goes. It ain't going to be like a clear cut what I thought it was. Then be like, oh, clear cut, they got the guy and he's pretty much going to be found guilty, and then boom, you know whatever the sentencing will be. No, this thing is completely changed. And this also, you're going on what, 2 years? When did this happen? 2022, right? Fall of 2020. Now you're going on 2.5 years and in almost 3 years by the time. Yeah, it's taken a while.
Yeah. So now that, because you just said, like, your opinions have kind of changed on this case.
They have, right? They have, yes.
Tearing down the house, how does that impact your thoughts where you stand now?
I think remember you wanted it to stick around to help the prosecution. Now it might actually help them. I mean, I'm sorry, it might help them figure out the holes in the story, because if the defense had access to the actual building or the actual structure and then really poking holes, look, how could you have seen this if you were here, or this or that? Then it would really have been more damaging. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Could go either way.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually, for the prosecution, I think it's best it doesn't exist anymore.
Interesting.
As what you thought it was the flip. You thought it was going to be help the prosecution if it still stood.
Capone says it was a Tate house.
I mean, that's what I'm hearing. Yes, that Capone. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, that's what I've looked into.
Saying they tore down the house in order to railroad Brian Koberger. Now we can't prove that the other roommates could or couldn't hear anything.
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah. So you thought it was the other way around. Now it's really the other. Like, yes.
I still stand by my opinion.
No, I'm not trying to change your opinion. I just thought it was going to be like, okay, well, they got the guy, and it'll be interesting to go through the case. It should be pretty fast. It should go pretty quick, right? And then the sentencing part, right? And it's just whatever. No, it's not that easy. Not anymore.
I don't know if it's picking up on the microphone, but she's like wicked purring right now. I'm afraid to ask this. But K-Dog says, what's Beckham's sources say about the Potomac crash, accident or not?
The only thing I can say about that is the military helicopter was supposed to be flying lower, and there should have been some sort of gadget turned on for training purposes. 100% should be turned on at all times. If it's an actual mission, it's off for for the reason of not being detected or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But during exercises and military and training sessions or whatever, it needs to be turned on, and it was turned off, and that's it coming from the official NTB, or what, the official agency that investigates that. It looks really suspect, and there's new footage. I don't know, Danny, if you've seen the new footage.
Mm-mm.
There's new footage of it. It looks really, I mean, I don't know, it doesn't look right. And the people that released that footage got fired.
Not surprising.
So I don't know, man.
I don't know what this means.
Yeah, NTSB. There you go. What?
3 side divas? I'm intrigued.
You know me. ABC.
Just
1,
make
2,
sure these
3.
side divas get some Beckham candles and some Danny After Dark merch. Well, thank you, Ivan Music Man. Thank you. All right, everybody.
Wait,
Well,
who asked the question about the crash?
it was K-Dog.
K-Dog, what do you think about it? Real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Put it in the chat.
Accident, what, error, like accident, or maybe it was just an accident, or was it a pilot error, or do you think something else?
Look at Tony Stewart. Lay the law down, Shelley. Oh, goodness. So while we are waiting on K-Dog to potentially give...
K-Dog, it's easy. It's
phone.
just put, what did I say? Accident?
He said still researching.
Oh, okay. All right, that's cool. Yeah,
James
I don't know.
Watson. Oh, ridiculous. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us tonight for the True Crime and Chill for Danny After Dark. And he's still
You need a
purring right now.
banner that says breaking, like breaking news, like, because it's gonna be breaking news next week with the old Brennan in the video. Yeah, I'm telling you, they haven't. They need to. They're gonna watch the video.
No, I hear you. I hear you. All right. Capone quickly says, I think helicopter was piloted remotely as a drone and hit plane to whack someone on board. Russians are on board.
Yeah, the only thing I can say about that, like I said, this gadget that's supposed to help them be monitored where they're at and tell them where they're supposed, that kind of thing. Remember, it was officially by the government or governing agency that does that, said for training purposes and everything, it needs to be 100. That's the first rule. It needs to be turned on. Now, if you're in a mission and away from everything, and it can be turned off. It was not on.
Yeah,
it's like,
they turned off.
That's it. Location. Yeah, it was a gadget. Yep, there you go. I didn't know the official title of it, but yeah. That's fishy, man. I don't know. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's
And then look at the second look at that new footage that came out and put what you just put out there about the location indicator being turned off, and look at the new footage that got leaked, and then you can make your own conclusion. I don't know.
Good point. All right, everybody. Well, thank you again for joining us for the True Crime and Chill. We'll be back with this next week. And then early next week, I will be doing another book review. So I'm really excited to go over that with you. And stay tuned in the next couple of days, because there will also be a little special video that will be uploaded to this channel. What could it be? So stay tuned for that. All right, everybody, remember, until next time, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye, everyone. And thank you, Beckham, for joining. Bye, everyone.